So I ordered this from K-Speed, this H23 pump. I was under the impression, and maybe I'm wrong, that it should fit the H22s. And it just doesn't. That's the pump off the H22. This is, the whole point is you want the metal impeller, and then you want the H series whatever you call it, pulley. This is the tensioner I also ordered from them. And the way the tensioner works is this piece has to go on here, which doesn't exist on theirs. And then this goes like this, like this. And that goes in there. So I can't even use their no-walk tensioner on the pulley that I ordered from them. So I don't know, I'm missing something here. Like, and these are more expensive. This is $140. A water pump should cost like $40. So I'm gonna run to the parts store and just see if I can get a OEM style water pump so I can move forward with the project and just write this off as a, what the hell, I don't know what that is supposed to do. Well, look what I found. So I reached out to the previous owner of the vehicle. When I bought it from him, he had a lot of extra parts, and he happened to have the correct water pump, brand new in the box. So kind of saved the day. Thanks, Nick. Appreciate that. And he also had a new gasket kit for the valve cover, so I'll install that as well. So back in action. Let me put this thing together and see if I can get this thing in the car. So also part of this kit, this is the old timing belt tensioner, and these are known to fail. This is like a pneumatic type one. This one, this company KS, whatever they're called, come out. It's just a chunk of billet and then literally just a threaded rod with a jam nut and everything. It does the same thing. It basically, it goes on here and then pushes up on the tensioner like so, and won't fail because you just lock it in place. So pretty simple. All right, looks like I got the timing belt set. I know the cam gears look gross, but you got cross marks here that line up. You got timing marks top dead center. I put long screwdrivers in there so I know I'm in top dead center. And then of course the lower mark lines up. There's an arrow there and then a mark there on the block. So tension's all set, water pump's on. Actually, I probably have a little too much tension, but I think it'll be fine. So rotated it around a couple times, timing mark's still good. So now I can button up this end. I gotta get the engine off the stand, get the clutch and flywheel installed, and then I can get the transmission on, which is sitting back there. Then, maybe tomorrow I'll get the swap back in the car and begin a bunch of other stuff I have to do to get it running. So one step forward. Just swapped out the flywheel and clutch on the H22 project. The factory, I didn't weigh it. I looked it up online, but the factory one, people are saying I think weighs like 27 pounds. The competition clutch, whatever that is, this guy here, the flywheel weighs 11.5 pounds. So a dramatic difference. You don't want to go too light, you know, depends on what kind of application you're doing. But I think 11.5 pounds, 12 pounds, right in that range is going to be a good factory, like horsepower NA setup. So should, you know, hold the revs a little bit better in between shifts and keep the, but it still has enough weight to keep like the inertia going and everything. So quicker shifts are going to be a must, but that's the whole point of this build. So first time experiencing this particular brand. In the past, I've used different brands on different engines. So I'm curious to see what this layout, how it performs. So now it's time to pull the transmission on and then start getting the wiring harness. I'll kind of update you guys as I go. Potentially get the engine in the car or the swap in the car today. We'll see. Yeah, you guys will miss all the good stuff, but just like that, transmission mounted to engine. There's some other miscellaneous bolts I got to put on, but for the most part, I'm going to probably get this cleaned up a little bit. I'm not going to get crazy because really I don't care. But I'm not going to get this swap in the car because There's a bunch of little stuff that I had to order, like throttle position sensor, oil pan gasket, gasket for the timing cover, some other stuff. And that stuff is all going to be easier to put on the engine when the engine's not in the car. So I'm going to hold off on that. Instead, I'm going to push the car in the garage, give it up on jack stands, drain the gas tank because it's been sitting for 10 years. Who knows what that looks like, so I need to look at that. And I have a upgraded master and booster for the brake system I need to put on there, and I'm going to cover that. So I need to get that stuff done. Again, that's all stuff that I want to do before this is even in there anyway. So I'm going to lift this, shove it off to the corner so I can park cars in here and get the Civic in here to fiddle around with the other stuff that needs to be done. So wanted to see if there was any fuel in it. There's like a trace amount of fuel at the bottom of the tank. I even pulled underneath, I even pulled the plug from the tank. Nothing came out. So I'm actually going to let it ventilate for a little bit, and maybe some of the residual stuff will just flash off. I'm not super concerned about the little bit that's in there. However, I'm not sure if this is a Walbro 255 or not. I don't know. Actually, does it say it right there? I don't know. So fuel pumps for this is actually pretty cheap. Looks like this has been changed. This might already be a Walbro 255. I'll have to look back at that. I might throw new fuel supply stuff on there. This car's been sitting for like 10 years. So that's probably a good idea. So I'll probably get a new fuel pump, new fuel filter in the engine bay. Just stack the deck in my favor to have fewer issues. Still need to cycle the injectors that are on the fuel rail. I'll show you that, like how I do that. That's probably not the best way to do it, but this is the way I've done it like back in the day when I was doing these Honda things. So, and it works. It's just, it's not the professional way to do it. So yeah, now I'm going to move on to the brake master and booster. Those are always fun, in case you didn't know. Those are fun to the case of like basically I got to lay on my back and get up underneath there and undo stuff. So kind of sucks. Okay, I'm too old and fat to be doing what I just did, but so I got the old master and booster out. And the reason you change these on these old Hondas is because you can see here this says 13/16, and that's the bore size on the brake master. And then what you do, and it bolts right up, super easy swap, is you put this guy on, and this is a 1-inch. So these were found on like Integras, and so there's a bunch of different sizes. There's the 13/16, 15/16. I think the 7/8 are the 1-inch. 1-inch is the one you really want to go with. So this one came with the car. You can swap the master over to the other booster. I've done that. But this is a paired up mate, so as long as this is good, should be able to bolt it right up. And what it does, it basically gives you a much more solid pedal feel. The other thing that happened while I was working, apparently Amazon delivers on Sunday in my area now, and this is a set of aftermarket headlights. Unfortunately, you can't really get like OEM headlights for the Camaro anymore. So for the 99 Camaro that I'm working on, it's at the detail shop right now, and there's a video coming on that. But I ordered these. They're kind of like the blacked out. That's such a dark car. I think these will look good. And the factory ones are just so faded over with the plastic. I'll try to restore them, but they're never going to look as good as these. So we'll check fitment on these. They were pretty inexpensive, like $100 for a pair. So I'll get these installed, and hopefully it'll look better. And that's my goal this year, is just to make the Camaro look a lot better. And then soon is going to come some performance parts, and we'll talk about that in a future video. So just keeping you up to date.